Morning. Welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and there's always a little delay here, so let's hang loose here and see how we get started. So, good morning. Today I want to talk about choosing forgiveness. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and past life regression specialist. I'm based in Seattle, Washington. And today I'd like to share with you some thoughts on forgiveness, and I would love it if you're listening live to go ahead and chime in and let me know where you're coming from, even if you're joining this in the archives. Let me know who you are, where you're chiming in from, and what you think about forgiveness. What is it? What does it mean to you, and why? So, let's start out with getting grounded and balanced. So just take your attention to the top of your head and just breathe down your body from head to toe. Just head, neck, shoulders, chest, hips, knees, and feet, and then back up again. Just imagine an energy line running down your body and then right back up again. And just releasing the cares of the day and giving yourself permission to be here in the community Om Times has created for us to chat, to be together, to come together and share. So today I want to talk about forgiveness. And it's an interesting topic, but it came about for me on Saturday morning as I was watching the news and watching all the people dancing in the streets that the election had been decided, and for a lot of people, their candidate won. My candidate too, I have to say. I'm happy, but it was also looking like the celebrations you see in third world countries where dictators have been overthrown, and that made me start thinking about how difficult the last 5 years have been in our country, but around the world, and especially how difficult this year has been for the entire world. And now, as we know that the pandemic is worsening, that we have all of these issues that are adding pressure to the world as holidays are coming up, and a lot of us are feeling alone. What does it mean to forgive? So what do you think? Chime in. Let's have a conversation. Let me know who you are. But as I was looking at that, I was thinking, it's time for people to come together again. It's time for us to band together. 2020 has been a tough year. We all know that, right? And a lot of us feel angry and defeated, and a lot of us are just wondering, what's next. But we're also, in many ways, all wondering how we can come back together, how we can start hearing each other wherever we are in the world, how to recognize that we're not listening, we're not actually hearing each other, and that it's time to forgive ourselves, each other, the world. It's time to talk about not what's right or wrong, but about what love is and what love means to us. And that's how the weekend struck me. So what does it mean to us who strive to create healthy bodies, minds, and spirits, right? To be complete as humans, as spiritual beings, as people with issues, concerns, and worries, and also joy. What does it mean for us to be good citizens in the world, and how does forgiveness come together in the end as 2020 ends? And I think it comes down to love, right? So we look at wherever we are, whoever we are in the world, to acknowledge that it's okay to be human, right? It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to acknowledge that we have feelings. It's okay to acknowledge that we're right or we're wrong, or we may be misunderstanding each other. It's okay to say, let's come together and try to fix things, whatever they are. From disagreements in the neighborhood, in your family, to the world. It's okay to say, hey, some mistakes were made, some good things happened. Let's come together and talk. Let's come together and be family on our Mother Earth, right? We're all together as citizens on Mother Earth. that forgiveness means we can acknowledge our faults, we can acknowledge our mistakes, and then we can go about fixing them. The other day, I was annoyed with my dog for something, and I was just like, oh, for crying out loud. And then I said, I'm sorry for being impatient with you. And you're thinking, okay, you're apologizing to a dog. Yeah, because he's a soul and a body, and I made a mistake. And I said, got to forgive myself for being impatient and move on. And we have to forgive ourselves for not being the perfect human we thought we were going to be, because that's what we're here for, to keep growing, right? When we're perfect, like, first of all, how's it going to happen? And secondly, what difference does it make, right? Because if we're perfect, right, we can't grow, right? So let's not go there. Let's strive to be our best. So forgiveness means we can always and forever choose love, I think. And it means that every time we stumble, we can move forward again. So forgiveness means striving. And we can always do better, that we can never quit on loving ourselves, that we can always say we can fix our problems, we can fix our mistakes, we can find out why it was a mistake, we can listen to each other and bring back dialogue that makes sense, that helps us come together as citizens of a city, of a country, of the world. Fix our issues, fix our broken relationships, celebrate together that we keep moving forward, that we keep looking for answers to problems, that we celebrate our triumphs, whatever they are. Clearly the United States election results showed that we're not close to agreeing on anything in this country, and sometimes that's a good thing, right? Because listening helps us come up with new solutions. But if we make a disagreement so intense that we can't talk, then it's time to call it. It's time to say it's enough, right? It's time to say stop. To reach out to each other regardless of how we voted, to come back together, to unite as citizens in body, mind, and spirit, to talk about the issues, right? And not just politics, to talk about how we're going to solve the pandemic, to talk about how those of us who are alone or those of us who are missing family are going to get through the holidays, right? Maybe we should do a broadcast here together on the holidays, just so that we can all be together at that. Have tea, coffee and cosmos with Robin, right? We could do that again. But it's time to take care of each other, to ask each other how we can help, to look at each other and use that word forgiveness to say, okay, we're all humans. We make mistakes, we have triumphs. We talk about it, we come together. So let's look at some specific quick tips, body, mind, and spirit, and see what those mean to us. So if we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking about coming together. Let's talk about body, okay? So what do? We get our bodies as healthy as possible. We're going into winter. They say the apex of the pandemic is going to be in January, at least in the United States, which is the country with the worst case load. What do you need to be healthy? To have a strong body. A body that can do the great work that each one of us came here to do. To grow our souls in this particular incarnation, to learn to love the world, to really connect with our mother, the planet, right? And mind, body, mind. So mind, what do we need to think? What do we need to know emotionally and literally to come together as a world, right? In the United States, to come together as a country, to bridge the gap that our election results show we have, right? And the world around us, across the world, has the same issues. How do we come together? How do we fight poverty and injustice and the pandemic and misunderstanding? Well, by choosing love, right? And by choosing forgiveness when we make a mistake or when we misunderstand, choosing to forgive ourselves and say, okay, I made a mistake, or okay, I know I'm not perfect and I could continue to grow. And so forgiveness is a broad thing. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It means that you're looking beyond for ways to come together in love. And that's really the most important thing. So spirit, what does spirit teach us? What does love teach us, right? That's what I've been thinking about. What does love teach us in all times? What has love taught us in this really, really tough year? Love taught us that we don't see race or creed or gender or nationality or even species, right? Love looks at all beings as equal. Love looks at all citizens as equal. Love puts politics aside and sees souls striving to love. And forgiveness gives us the room to grow in love, to pick ourselves up after a little mistake or a big mistake and say, okay, I can keep moving on. So when you look at forgiveness in your life, what has hurt you in the last 5 years? What has hurt you today in 2020? What can you let go of? What can you forgive your neighbor for? What can you forgive yourself for? I know, like a lot of people, I've been depressed a lot this year. I was also sick for 6 months. Not something that, you're cheerful about. But it's like I had to stop on the weekend and say, okay, I forgive myself for being depressed for 6 months and I can move forward now. So one thing I want to share with you is celestite. This is an amazing piece of celestite. And I'm not a person for hearts. I'm big on love. But look, it's almost like that oddly shaped what a real heart looks like. But celestite is sure a great crystal for sleeping. I keep it by my bed night. But this particular celestite is very soothing and comforting. This pale blue color is really very soothing, particularly for women, and I don't know why. It just is. But if you're looking for forgiveness, if you're looking for softness, for love that just allows you to be and to grow, consider a chunk of celestite. This is huge, I know, but it also comes in small pieces, and you can get small pieces that are tumbled, because this is a raw piece, and you're just not going to walk around with a chunk of raw celestite. It's going to cut your hands up. But a tumbled piece is great for soothing us. So I hope this is giving you something to think about. Again, my name is Robin Fritz. You can find me at the Practical Intuitive Robin M. Fritz here on Facebook. And I'm here every Monday at Om Times Magazine to talk about something that occurred during the week, to give us something to think about together. If you have some ideas of things that you'd like to talk about, let me know. Chime in at my Facebook page. But I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you like the broadcast, please like this page, like my page, The Practical Intuitive. Really support Om Times and all of the pages that they have. They're great people. They're doing a lot to let love shine in the world, to let that light out into the world. And each one of us can do that. So as you move forward this week, for the rest of the year, really forever, but just this year, as we stumble through the end of 2020 and we're exhausted and we're depressed and we're ready for great news, right? The great news is that love is always available to us. That if we're feeling down, we can say, hey, I forgive myself for feeling down. And it isn't that it's a fault. It's acknowledging that we're human, and that choosing to be human means love is something we're always striving for, and we're always getting it in little bits and pieces. So find love in your life. Take care. We'll see you next week. Thank you.